Welcome to Blessings in the Journey Homestead. Here is our tutorial on our greenhouse project that we used pallet boards, PVC pipe, the roller paper from Lowe's, of course your screws, and we dug a foot into the ground for frost level. So in this video, I'll walk you through what we did, what we learned, what worked and what did not work, so that way you can see how you can build a greenhouse relatively cheap. Pallet boards were free, so that helped, but relatively cheap on your homestead. And hopefully that will help you with gardening a little bit earlier and getting more things sown. First, a word about getting pallet boards. We were able to secure our pallet boards from a construction company. Construction sites use pallet boards when delivering materials, and oftentimes they're paying someone to come pick up trash. So if you pick them up, they will often give them to you free, which was how we got ours. You also can check in to Amazon warehouse. People who sell things and are shipping things in, they're likely to have some. You might also find some pallet boards that other people have, like on Facebook. Okay, step one for us after measuring out how big the space would be, looking at the pallet boards we had, was to try and implement this frost level idea we had found on other YouTube channels, Pinterest, whatnot. So here in North Carolina, we read that our frost level was a foot. Some of the YouTube videos I watched were deeper, like up to 3 feet, depending on location. So check that out. One thing I learned was that when you dig a foot into the ground, you can expect it to fill with rain here in eastern North Carolina. This is why no one has like root cellars in North Carolina, because we have a flooding problem here. But hopefully the gravel and way we have built up the inside is going to help us with that. Okay, so once we got everything dug a foot deep into the ground, we started assembling the pallet boards. Our pallet boards were all different sizes, so there was no like evening it up perfectly. But basically what we did was start by using some used pieces of wood to connect the pallet boards together. Things from previous construction projects we used first to keep the cost low. At some point we did run out and had to use wood that we had bought for the purpose of putting together the pallet boards by just, cutting them down and screwing them in together. The corners were a little bit trickier just because you couldn't just put like a flat piece there on the two pallet boards and screw them in. So what we had to do was to take a piece on the inside of the pallet and screw that in with one on the outside. And I think you can see my husband doing that here. Might not be the best to show you that, but that was what we did on the corners. One of the best things about this greenhouse project was how easy we were able to include our kids in building this. As you saw earlier, one son was on a tractor, another one was like digging dirt out with a shovel. Also because that's what he wanted to do, like not child labor or anything. I mean, I guess it is child labor, but by his own choice. The youngest, who is 4 here, was a huge help. She helped Granddaddy screw the pieces of wood in using the screwdriver, and that just made her day, let me tell you. She also was a very big girl, helping me with just holding things up, fetching things, and laying things out. Just a really good help. So the kids were all able to help, and I always encourage you to include your kids on any projects you're doing at home, because it gives them a sense of responsibility and self-worth. All right, so once we got all the pallet boards screwed together in the shape we wanted it, we had to start using the PVC pipe. If you can get PVC pipe for free, do it. We were not able to, so our PVC pipe had to come from Lowe's, as well as did our clear paper that we used to cover the greenhouse. So that was also trial and error. The first sheets of like white clear roll paper we got did not work. It was cut the wrong way, so it didn't fit over the greenhouse, and we had to try again. So this was very much a trial and error project for us. Despite having watched numerous other DIY videos, we kind of had to learn on our own. So we measured where the PVC pipes would go, and as you can see here, I am cutting the paper to fit over it. We felt like we were making a covered wagon, and even made a few Little House on the Prairie jokes, as we often do around here. Fitting the pipes was a bit challenging because they were so long, and we thought we were going to have a really tall greenhouse, and the goal in mind was to eventually have fruit trees growing inside of it, like an orange and a lemon, lime, avocado, those things. But after we realized that we didn't need to do that, just because here where we are, even though we're in North Carolina, our property is like this big old rectangle and woods, and the wind just swoops down from the trees of the woods on three sides into this like rectangle of cleared land, and it blows stuff all to pieces. We've had so much stuff destroyed. A carport we bought to use outside, like one of those nice carports, actually, that our mother-in-law gave us. The awning on the camper, lots and lots and lots of things have just been blown to pieces because we didn't realize all of a sudden the wind was going to swoop down and it ripped it or tore it or whatever. So even though you see us using the full length of the PVC pipe, we ended up cutting it down just because we figured the wind would end up damaging it being that high up. So for the first part, you can see where my husband is drilling the holes. And we did have to purchase a tool to drive the hole into the pallet board for the PVC pipe to fit. While my husband and sons were going around and drilling and connecting pieces, I decided to go ahead and start covering the inside. So I had not seen this on the research I did, but my husband saw it on one of his research videos, and they covered the inside of the pallet board and the outside of the pallet board. So that was where I started with covering the inside. Look, there's a shot of what the PVC pipe looks like going into it. So yeah, you can see how tall that is. Like, that was just not going to work. It's kind of fun looking. Made an awesome covered wagon, but it would have been blown to pieces. So we end up cutting the pipe later, like I said. And yeah, my husband was able to figure out on his own how to connect the pipes all by himself without help at some point in the video. Who knows where the kids ended up. They were probably all playing in the woods at this point, and I was still working on getting the inside of the pallet boards wrapped up so that could be done. All right, once the inside was wrapped, next was to wrap the outside, obviously. This was so easy. I mean, all I did was just measure some out so it was easier to maneuver and staple onto the pallet board directly. And it's been a few months. We've had lots of strong winds. Since having this done, the awning on the camper was like ripped halfway off. The tarp part of the awning was ripped. So we've had strong winds, and so far the greenhouse has stood up. After wrapping the outside, we used some leftover tar paper from like roofing project and wrapped that on the outside. The reason we did that was so we could apply some 2x4s on the outside to hold it better. All right, this is what the inside looked like. You can see the connectors, you can see where the PVC pipe goes into the edge of the pallet boards. And at this point, we had clips on the outside. We later learned that the clips did not hold it worth a darn. So all the clips that were there ended up like just being taken off. That's the door frame. I think I forgot to mention that, but we do frame the inside because that made it more sturdy. There go our, I would like to say helpers, but they're more like our hindrances. Now for the grand tour, up close and personal, our DIY low cost pallet board, free pallet board greenhouse. Here is what the inside looks like. Once you come in the door, oh, no door in this video, but there is a door. Once you come into the door, this is what you see. We haven't completely finished the inside, but once we will, there will be things to hang from. We're gonna do the gravel, we have the gravel now, but the gravel on the ground and compost and soil on the sides, and start growing things in here like all year long. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell to see the finished project.